I'm going to start with a bit of a traditional incantation from my kāinga before I get into it. It's just how he does. It's called a tauparapara or oratory. It's how you begin your kōrero. Tēnei au, ko te hōkai nei o taku tapu wai. Ko te hōkai nuku, ko te hōkai rangi, ko te hōkai o tō tūpuna, tāne nui ārangi. I pikitia e ia ki te rangi tūhaha, ki te tihi o mano no. I roko hina atu kia I o matua kore anake, kāriro iho mai konga ke te wānanga. Ko te ke te tuauri, ko te ke te tuatea, ko te ke te aro nui. I tiritiria, I paupaua kia papatua nuku I puta mai ko te ira tāngata, ki te whai au, ki te ao mārama tihai, mauri ora. Here I am, I stand, I move, shifting, following these steps my ancestors set swiftly, guided along this journey by the incantations and karakia I carry with me, moving. Shifting, rising towards up and through the heavens. This the story of Tāne Nui Ārangi, mankind's eponymous ancestor. He who climbed to the highest of heavens in search of new understandings, learnings and lessons there. In the highest of realms, he met Io Matua Kore, the parentless one himself. From him, he attained these baskets of knowledge. Ngā kete o te wānanga, these baskets of understanding. Ngā kete o te mārama, ko te kete tuauri, ko te kete tuatea, ko te kete aronui. And with this knowledge he returned and implemented his new understandings unto the earth, resulting in the birth of mankind. Mankind as we know it today, from the world of darkness into the world of light. So it is in his name that we breathe each breath of life. Ki te whai au, ki te ao mārama, tihai, mauri ora. Okay. No. You don't clap for a tauparapara, that's the start. that's just the start. Okay. Let's get amped up when I start with one of these. So, poems. First, tēnei te mihi ki te iwi takitaki o tēnei rohe ne, kia koutou ngā tangata whenua o tēnei rohe, ngā tangata o te Wāli Nation, ngā tangata o te wareware, tēnei au ka mihi, tēnei mātua o Aotearoa ka mihi kau atu kia koutou. I raru I te maru o tēnei kaupapa whakahirahira, enei mahi runga I te ipurangi, I raru I te maru o tēnei kaupapa miharo rau atu, te tūmanoa toa o tātou ngā iwi takitaki o tēnei ao. No reira, tēnei au ka mihi. I was just greeting all the people and the haukainga and the people that have let us come into this space and be here and occupy it under the shade of this thing called social media and under the sage of Indigenous people standing up around the world. So, tēnā tātou katoa. First poem, the sister said, and the fire up the back there, so they're from Taranaki. When I was little, I used to always ask my mum, can you buy me some guy forks on fireworks day? And November, and she used to always tell me, don't you dare ask me for guy forks. In Aotearoa, the greatest stand of passive-aggressive resistance happened on that exact day when no warfare or anything was practiced, and we go and celebrate something where a dude blew up a building. I don't get it. Anyway, this piece is called Parihaka, and it's to acknowledge that thing. And I want to make it clear, I'm not from Parihaka, I'm not from Taranaki, and that's not my maunga. And I'm a follower in the decolonized methodology, so I'm not speaking for them. I'll never ever try and speak for them. I speak on how I've learned from what their ancestors have done for us as people, Indigenous people, and people that are always crashing against the colonizer. I'll start by stating that I'm not of Parihaka whakapapa. Taranaki is not where my maunga stands. My maunga is I'm from Tauranga Moana, to be more specific, te Mautere o Matakana. I state that because I'm a firm believer in decolonized methodologies, so I would never try and speak for them. I only speak on how I've personally learned from their examples and philosophies. The people of Parihaka, the protectors of peace, the independence defenders, the ones who were able to do it without using weapons. Their form of passive-aggressive, active resistance and protest shall eternally be remembered, especially considering the sort of law changes being made these days which are impeding on protesters. We must acknowledge the visionaries with sight. Te whiti the shine, tohu the sign, ngā rangatira tokorua tohu kākahi, rawa ko te whiti o rongo mai. Te whiti sent men to plough, dig the lands up and mess with the land surveyors with no intention or mention of violence and aggression. Not even as these people of Parihaka that were ploughing the lands up as a means of peaceful protest were being arrested. Yet still, on November 5th, 1881, the invasion begun. As the invasion squad invaded, waving guns, a stand was taken. These soldiers were fired upon with shots of smiles. They were bombed with grenades of gracious love. They were welcomed and embraced with hugs. For these soldiers invading to invade the space, there wasn't space enough, so the people of Parihaka felled their own walls and made enough. How could you, as a soldier, roll in on a people offering all they have and still confiscate their stuff, rape and touch their women, pillage their village, and chop everything from the crops to the estates to dust? It took a matter of months, but it was done. Te whiti, tohu, and their men were in prison, but still they preached, still they practiced non-violent resistance, and in 1883, some were allowed back. This was proof the plan of a peaceful people of Parihaka had not failed. But by 1886, for simply holding a meeting again, Te whiti was jailed. But by 1888, all who survived the turbulence of the times were allowed to return. This proves, in the end, peace wins over war. In the end, peace wins over all. With examples like Parihaka, why is it that we still haven't learned and we just keep going to war? Kia ora. I'm just gonna quickly go on something. And so that piece, I created that piece a couple of years ago because I was always banging on my head how dare we blow stuff up and we make bombs and stuff that like signify war after there was ancestors in New Zealand that had that day as a peaceful day, a day where no war or anything happened on the Māori side. And we go and ignore that and blow things up. Yeah, I'm glad my mum used to slap me when I asked her if I can have guy forks. Yeah, so no violence towards kids, no violence towards kids. Matariki, oh no, patuta pen. I'm gonna stand beneath my flag for the patuta pen one. And this piece, that Parihaka, that's used in a lot of schools at the moment in New Zealand, and they use that for social studies class. And their teachers have found out, I get calls from universities, schools, community groups. I come in and I run writing workshops with their youth, with their children. And the only just understanding that if a child writes a poem, a song or something, and it's full of rhythm, it's full of rhyme, that child's going to be able to remember it a hell of a lot easier than something they read out of a book. Mnemonic devices is something all of our ancestors done in their time. They created songs to hold and store knowledge and pass down. And we still have those songs. Doesn't that prove something? And we still we read books. So from patu to pen, it talks about a lot of the changes that have gone on within my culture, te ao Māori, from the past, before the settler, to when the settler arrived, until now, speaking about things in the future. I pick up my pen in the blind attempt of trying to write one of these rhyme and remedies like my ancestors were forced to pick up a weapon and go to war to smite their enemy back then. It was about whose weapon of war is swifter these days. It's about who has the linguistic ability to bullet points and talk swifter. We've come from our own economic system of take, utu and air, to living with loans on our homes and no ways to clear this debt up. We've come from ngā te wānanga o tāne, to an education from a wānanga only being acknowledged as qualifications from university, from separate iwi with our own cultures to ngai Māori slowly but surely forced to merge, losing our unique diversity. We've come from a time where the earth mother, Papa Tuanuku, was cherished, to now when Papa and our surrounding environment are blatantly neglected. We threw the oil of the Rena in the arena of Tangaroa and watched as he was poisonously infected. Because we drew holes deep into our mother. We chopped down our brothers' forests, and still we have the nerve to wonder why Rua Umoku was under this earth quaking on us. We were once of this land, physical and spiritual natives. Now we're just on this land, all day hooked on Facebook and YouTube, consumed digital natives. Must I remind you that we are the first generation to be plagued with technologies of this sort? As we bite the bad fruits of the blackberry bushes and Apple's products while being ripped off, we try to buy things with the cash they provide us within this economic system and get forced to put it on HP or Dell get cross. We've come from tikanga and kawa to etiquette and morality, from fishing chips to fish and chips and bakeries. From living as a collective in power to an urbanized individualistic society, from having rangatiratanga to having to constantly remind this government of te tiriti or waitangi, and on that, I'ma let this pen and paper witchcraft and trickery is heavy to toll. Sign this, read that, learn this, write that, forget what you know, because if it's not in writing, then it's senseless. You're trying to claim fact. Like how Captain Cook recorded in his book that he discovered New Zealand way back, but anyone who knows the real history of Aotearoa knows based on the name that only Kupe can claim that. But what's a culture of oral traditions to a culture that refuses to listen? A people who have eyes but won't use them to see past what's written, a nation that lacks vision. Generations that have been educated to lack wisdom. Read this, learn that, forget what you know, keep your opinions to a minimum because people don't want to know. Go to class, make sure you pass, believe there's truth in what you're told, We've come from having mana to chasing a rep and a swag from haka, to spitting raps from being warriors, to getting patched in gangs and becoming soldiers. People who are blatantly lying in the music and in the media could have once been great orators or composers. I'm not saying that positive development and progression hasn't occurred within New Zealand. I'm simply posing the question. In accordance with whose cultural values, ideologies and perspectives, because it sure wasn't ours. I know that because most of the time when I speak, I can't even get a tihai mauri or in support of that. People are too busy trying to click like on Facebook or clap. What's up with that? Yeah. How do I open that? Oh, soz. Yeah, and so a lot of the stuff that I do, it gets shared quite heavily around social media and back home in New Zealand. And purely because it's a space where I can get up and say something and no one can you can't interrupt me while I'm doing that. You come up there, you might catch an elbow or something. Like you can't, it's a space where you can't interrupt them, you can't stop them, and you can't tell the person that's delivering what they're saying that they're wrong. These are things that I've learned since I was little, and I'm able to share them freely and feel comfortable about sharing them and not feel like I'm going to be dissed or shit on afterwards for sharing them. And I found spoken word poetry is choice for that. I can take something that usually you'll get bombed for, you'll get hated on for, and I chuck it in people's face. Like I go to Parliament, I perform lots of places, but I perform in front of them, and like I'm basically saying, you stole my land, I'm going to take it back, and they're like, yeah. Oh, what's going on here? Oh, yeah. But yeah, that happens a lot. And so, as well as working in schools, as well as working in schools, I do a lot of that sort of stuff, and universities. So I was at the Waikato University gets me in, so I'm the assessor for their creative writing paper that's run by Professor Pau Temara. And an example of social media being part of that, he got at me on Facebook. This dude is like one of our top cultural exponents, our top language professors of all of New Zealand for Māori people. And he jumps on Facebook and he's like, oh, you want to come and teach a class, bro? Like, that's what it is. And I get offers like that from a lot of people, and it's amazing because like a lot of the time people are like, oh no, Facebook's not professional, you can't do things on there, you have to send the formal email. But I don't read my emails. You can ask Bronwyn, she emailed me like 50 times. But she Facebooked me and I got it straight away, didn't I? Simple as that. And it's also, so my presence online and going around places physically has enabled me to like bomb in on mainstream media. I get calls from the news and stuff, the breakfast shows, the good morning shows, and I rock up there and they're like, so what are you going to talk about? I'm going to talk about my connection to the sea. And they're like, oh, that's wonderful. And then I get up there and I just, wah! And what can they do? It's hilarious. Live TV, they asked me to come on and I'm in there. And the worst part is they asked me back. This might not come up because it's an Australian search, eh? Oh, no, right there. And so this is another resource that's used in schools. I got a call from stuff.co.nz. That's one of the big media people in New Zealand, and the Waikato Times. They also run Waikato Times. Oh, it's not going to play the mail. Oh, that's cold. What is your... Oh. Nah, it's not on YouTube because it's stuff.co. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I was going to play it because I don't know that poem off the top, but it talks about a lot of the things that were going on today, and particularly the flag debate. Dee touched on it, but I just Yeah, we have a flag in New Zealand. Our original flag was the flag of the Declaration of Independence, but no one talks about that. They only talk about the flag we have now, and the options we're voting for a new flag currently, and all the options are pretty whack. Like, I'd have that flag in a minute, I'll vote for that flag, but the flags that are there aren't cool. And one of the main things is that John Key wants to hack out the Union Jack from our flag. And like, I know a lot of people be like, yeah, well, that symbolizes the Queen, rip it out. But the Treaty of Waitangi was an agreement between Māori people and the Crown, and the Union Jack is the symbol of that relationship. So if you take that Union Jack away from our country, does that mean that relationship's gone? And if that relationship's gone, does that mean that our rights as Māori people are gone? Because those are the people who we had to deal with. And that's what that poem talks about. I can't even recite it off the top to you, but that's what it goes. That's how it goes. Anyway, we're moving right along. Here's one I wrote today. I wrote a bit of this. I wrote this today. I wrote a piece, and then I was like, oh no, this is whack. I better switch it up. And then I was listening to all the people talking, and so I just edited my piece, and I thought, oh yeah, because like, there's lots of doctors and stuff in the house. Hey, I got a honors degree from Waikato Uni, but I got my degree from writing essays in poem form. I didn't get my degree from being clever fellow like you guys. Anyway, here's a little piece I wrote about my experiences personally on social media and the ways I see it impacting on us as Indigenous people, particularly Māori people, but Indigenous people. Yeah. See, we've come from surfing waves to surfing the web. We used to catch fish in our nets, now people are trying to catfish the internet. Undiscovered and unknown are the depths of this new sea, a new space for exploration, but what does that really mean? For my tribe, for my iwi, what does that mean for native people worldwide and their treaties? Our bands bond together by shackles to keyboards tied as internet speed rises and falls with the importance of the tides. Will we drown in these new currents in the attempt of trying to keep up with what's current? Who knows? But it's for us, the first generation of Indigenous digital native, to explore the space and ensure that it's navigated by waka in a way that's culturally appropriate and safe. I just want to know, before the end of my time, how is social media going to impact the sacredity of my traditional home and marae? People often ask me like, bro, how do you get people to engage online with your words? I call those fellas lone bulls because they just want to be heard. Oh, what a dry crowd. I tell them what I know. The first thing to understand is your social media reach, grasp and span. If your friends list or a group page or band, find out how hot or cold is the spin of your fans. Once you know that, it's just the start. Viewing it from the people's perspectives is where you got to get at. Over time, you'll be able to roughly predict people's online habits and posting patterns. The cool thing about group pages that's pretty wicked is they actually show you the page's analysis and statistics. So you know which posts get the most activity on which day and what time are the most people visiting. Basically, the key to the amount of people your posts reach is timing by aligning your posts with with when people are in front of their screens. The secret, the best kept secret, is your context or the message that you're speaking. Just speak the truth. That's how you set movements in movement. That's why I speak 100 to the power of word. I frack into souls like I'm digging on a mineral search so I may speak to people's hearts. Art is not the reason for these words I chisel and carve. The wood is people's thoughts. The chisel, both my fingertips and my tongue. The mallet swings with the press of the enter tab and shift of my lung. My chisel carves, but only when it needs to. That's why it's appreciated and shared on social media by my iwi and people. Soz, aroha mai about the chokes. I hate choking. I hate choking and slipping up. My bad. One more piece. It's called the Rena. This was the piece I was talking about when I said I was on those morning shows, and I told them I was just going to talk about my connection to the sea. I found poetry as a really effective means of being able to get across what you want to say. And like I said, you can say it to people that usually wouldn't accept those sort of thoughts, and they take it in. They take it in because it sounds beautiful. Hey. The Rena. So I'm from a place called Matakana Island in New Zealand in the region of Tauranga. And we're coastal people, we're seafaring people. And my island is just off the coast there. And there's some islands further out called Motiti and Tuhua. This big ugly ship called the Rena came and it hit the Otaiti Reef in Motiti Island. And what happened was half of the ship got stuck and the other half sank. So it split in half and all the oil and all the guts of it came out. And there was like cars and hundreds and thousands of containers and stuff, and they're all washed up on my beach. But all that mainstream media wanted to talk about was the impact on tourism, or like the money impact. I don't care about the money I don't care about none of that. I care about how it affected my family and my hapu and my iwi, my tribe, my people. Hey, because their thoughts and their whakaaro about it weren't shared on mainstream media. So I'd do things like that and roll onto mainstream media and let them have it. And so it began. As the essence of death sipped from the monster's depths into the sand, impacting all creatures from the air, sea and the land, she was stuck between a reef and a hard place, jammed like my nan's boiled fruit pulp in a jar case. Her knife-like features with a sharp blade base pierced my moana, oozing and bleeding this dark paste. She was stuck. No anchor, nothing but a dark taste of volatility spread, turning my once bright pantry and sanctuary into a dark place. We were going wild, lives spinning out of control with the amount of wild life killing that was occurring as the government sat around, downing their Caesar salads, just chilling. How dare you poison the swells in the realm of Tangaroa, then sit around and watch as time ticks on while doing nothing at all. To those with the access and knowledge, that's a food basket and store. Payments made with the practice of kaitiakitanga, tikanga, and LORE law. Until that day, when this blanket of death lay on our seabed and she was almost a beach dead for sure. I saw them. There was an army of monsters surfing the waves in the shape of shipping containers, though nothing within them could be contained. Armored in steel, stealing and taking the life of my moana away. Unless you were raised to be at one with the sea, you could never see, believe, understand or feel the sort of pain. And while it was happening, there was a culture clash, the classic one, money versus mana. Now, who determines and measures success and wealth? Is wealth the ability to be able to collect enough food to sustain yourself? Or is wealth forever to be acknowledged as the assets in your possession and cash in your bank account? Because the sea, now that's a resource to practices of capitalism, but what's a resource to our Maori source, my people's very essence of living? Soon as it happened, we were there, an army in gumboots and latex gloves that protected nothing, believe me. That's the sort of power and love shared and felt between whānau hapu and iwi. I'm the sort of person that, beneath every dark cloud, I have to find myself a silver lining. The silver lining I wound up identifying was the oneness, the unity that wound up deriving from such a tragedy. And they can believe that that's the only reason I'm still smiling, because it has to be. Kia ora. But yeah. Smile on the clapping. So that's all my poems, and like I could have got on talking about social media and showed you the pages that I'm a part of and that I admin and all that, but why? All you need to know is that to get stuff seen on social media, post it at the right time when the most people are online. That's all pace.